Vice Chairman Uaminal to restate his motion for clarity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Before we suspended the hearing this morning, I move that the complaint must be declared sufficient in form, setting aside technicalities and furtherance to substantial justice, and that by doing so, the committee would be liberal enough in addressing this impeachment complaint that this committee is hearing today.
And with that motion, there was an objection of Deputy Speaker Castro.
It was seconded by Congressman Belaro, I think.
I second the motion. I reiterate my seconding the motion, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
so that is the parliamentary status, and so there being a motion duly seconded
Mr.
and
Chairman.
an objection,
May I introduce an amendment to the motion?
please, Majority Leader.
The motion is out of pure liberality. The committee finds the complaint sufficient in form. I introduce an amendment that this will be the last time that the committee entertains any complaint where the affiant or complainant violates paragraph 3 of the verification. Any complainant who should come before Congress must really stand to his oath that all the material allegations of the complaint are based on his personal, are true and correct, based on his personal knowledge and or culled from authentic records. That's the amendment, Mr.
The movement respectfully and gladly accepts the amendment.
Okay, so any objection to the amendment? The chair hears none. Then there being a motion which is amended, duly seconded, and a corresponding objection thereto, we will now divide the House. So as many as those who are in favor of the motion as amended, please stand up.
I am, Mr. Chairman, I am withdrawing my objection.
Better. So,
Mr. Chairman, I am
No need to
objecting.
divide the House.
there being no objection.
Mr. Chairman, I am objecting.
Okay, what is your objection?
Your Honor, the complaint is not in accordance with the rules.
Okay,
Particular
so,
that on verification, Your Honor, please. It's very
We
clear.
have already divided the House on the matter again so that the committee secretary can count on those who are in favor of the motion. Please rise again.
Tama ba? Withdrawal but reinsertion?
Thank you very much, my dear colleagues. Those who are in favor or against the motion, please stand up for just for records purposes, recording purposes. So, any abstention? We saw some of the members who did not rise. Just for recording purposes, those who did not vote, please rise. Wala. So we will now proceed with the. We hereby declare that the
Form.
impeachment complaint is sufficient in form. So now we will now proceed with the determination of sufficiency in substance. I see the hand of Vice Chair Liachon.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Though I must admit that in view of the withdrawal of the Deputy Speaker as regards the objection as to sufficiency in form, now that we're dealing with the matter, particularly the subject matter of sufficiency in substance, I would like to reiterate my manifestation later on in concurrence with the objection that I am now moving that the impeachment complaint filed by our distinguished colleague, Congressman Alejeno, be declared insufficient in substance, as there was a very clear narration of answers as regards the line of questioning of the majority leader that based on his own personal knowledge, he does not know, that he has no personal knowledge of all the acts contained in the subject complaint. There being so, the requirement of the complaint being sufficient in substance is not met, considering that the recitals of facts do not constitute the offense. And therefore, I do believe, Mr. Chairman, that we have nothing to hear, considering that these are the recital of facts are purely hearsay. So I move, Mr. Chairman, I move to...
There is a motion. Any second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Before that,
Mr. Chairman,
Deputy Speaker Castro.
I would like to be a co-movant of Congressman Liachon in moving for the dismissal of the complaint filed. Insufficiency. Declaration of the insufficiency of the complaint filed by Congressman Alejeno on the ground that during the discussion on whether or not the complaint is sufficient in form, there was a categorical and clear admission on the part of Congressman Alejeno that he has no personal knowledge on the narration of facts stated in the complaint. Along that line, Mr. Chairman, I believe that any discussion on the matter of sufficiency of substance has become moot and academic. In view thereof, Mr. Chairman, I also move, together with Congressman Liachon, for the declaration of the insufficiency and substance of the impeachment complaint.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Alejano.
I understand we will go through the voting after this, but may I be allowed to explain why I do not agree with the motion, Mr. Chair?
Unfortunately, you are not a member and you cannot object to the motion unless there are other members who can object. Then we will consider the motion to have been moved and seconded. Likewise, Congressman Lagman, you're not a member of this Justice Committee.
I am not a member, as I've said previously, but I have the right to speak without the right to vote. Before the committee goes on voting on the sufficiency in substance, may I just reiterate that under the rules of impeachment of the House, sufficiency in substance is met when there is a recital of facts constituting the offense charged and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. In other words, the committee should confine itself in determining sufficiency in substance to the recital of facts in the complaint, the ultimate facts. It cannot go outside of the complaint, the allegations in the complaint, plus the annexes. Because if we do that, then we are now going to venture on the determination of probable cause. So, I think a judicious appreciation of whether there is sufficiency in substance would be limited to the recital of facts in the complaint, whether it constitutes an impeachable offense or impeachable offenses and determinative of the committee's jurisdiction. And it should not be going outside of the four corners of the complaint, because if we do that, we are now going to venture on the question of determination of probable cause. Moreover, I think the Constitution requires a hearing, both with respect to the sufficiency in form and sufficiency of substance. And I think the Honorable Alejeno should be given the opportunity to be heard why his recital of facts would constitute the impeachable offenses determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee before a vote is taken.
Thank you for
Mr.
that
Chairman.
manifestation. Unfortunately,
Mr. Chairman.
that manifestation cannot be considered an objection. There is a pending motion. It has been seconded. Is there any objection to the motion?
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed a little bit of time in order for me to explain, Mr. Chair?
Sandali mo na. Sino ba yung nandun?
No, it's not.
Is that an objection?
Mr. Chairman.
So wala tayong objection. So we cannot defer on the voting because there is already there is no objection. So the motion is carried.
As many as are in favor.
Walang objection.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Please, Congressman Belaro.
Mr. Chairman, the definition of in our rules, what constitutes substance is the offense and then jurisdiction. Now, with respect to because the rules in criminal procedure is supplementary to our proceedings under our rules on the Committee on Justice, if we consider that, even on this score, the complaint should be dismissed because there is no substance. Because substance as defined in our rules is only limited to two things. One is jurisdiction. Well, of course, those things that happen in Davao are without the jurisdiction of this committee. Second one is whether the allegations constitute an offense. Here, the material fact that I'm trying to...
Now I will be the one to raise a point of order. What is the rule violated?
Your
I think
Your
you
Honor,
are
the rule
discussing Mr. Chairman, I think he is discussing the motion, but he raised a point of order. Now I'm asking a real point of order. What is the rule violated?
The rule violated, Your Honor, is the House Committee Rules on Impeachment. I think there is a paragraph there which states that the rules of criminal procedure are supplementary to this proceeding. What I'm trying to say, Mr. Chairman, is that the complaint itself is dismissible because...
Let him cite the rule. Well, he's saying what he's thinking. Let him cite the specific rule.
Please cite the rule, Congressman Belaro.
May I, Your Honor, right now it's not handy, but I recall that under the House Committee on Justice Rules on Impeachment of the 16th Congress, which was adopted by the 17th Congress, Your Honor, there is a statement there that there is a provision that the rules on criminal procedure are deemed supplementary to this proceeding. Now, under the rules on criminal procedure, one of the grounds for a motion to dismiss is that there is a failure to constitute an offense. And here, if you read the complaint, it is dismissible because it does not identify the persons involved, the 8,000 and 1,402. So on that score alone, it is dismissible. That's what I'm saying. We can dismiss this complaint outright because of...
Hold it. There is no dismissal under our rules. Our rules is only sufficiency in form and sufficiency in substance. There is no dismissal here. So there is no, the case will not be dismissed because we cannot dismiss this. It will only be subjected to plenary. So we are now only voting
Point of order to
the sufficiency and substance, and the voting was going on, but the gentleman raised a point of order and there is no rule being violated. So may I...
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman.
Appeal to the previous question.
No, Mr. Chairman.
Is that an objection, Mr.
No,
Chair?
I'm just saying that what Congressman Belaro was saying, actually it's not a point of order to the motion that you were presenting to this committee. He said it is a point of order, but in effect, it is not a point of order.
It is a point of order, Mr. Chairman, with respect to the claim that the offense...
For a while, let us be clear on this. As
Chair.
clarified,
Tatagal pa eh, sige na.
As clarified, we are not yet on the dismissal. We are just voting upon the substance. Unfortunately, those who would like to object are not members of the Justice Committee, and therefore we cannot consider their objection as objection but mere manifestations. So anyway, what is the pleasure of the Vice Chair, Owaminal?
Mr. Chair, the parliamentary status is that there is a motion to declare that the impeachment complaint shall be insufficient in substance. May I
Duly
now,
seconded.
duly seconded. May I now request the Chair to call for the vote on the motion so that if the motion is carried, then the Chair will declare that the impeachment complaint is duly dismissed.
Mr. Chair, having no objections, we don't need to divide the House.
Congressman Salo?
Just a clarification, Mr. Chair. After voting, are we allowed to explain our votes, or that's it?
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chair, I have a pending motion.
So anyway, there is a motion duly seconded.
Mr. Chair.
But again, for clarity, the chair would like the members who approve of the motion, because the chair noted earlier that there were those who did not stand up when the voting was made on the sufficiency of form. So we would now like all members who are in favor of the motion to please rise. Comsec. Okay na? Okay, please take your seats. Those who are not in favor of the motion to declare the complaint insufficient in substance, please rise. So we will just put one and one together to determine those who did not stand up. Anyway, there are 42 members who stood up and voted in favor of the motion to declare this complaint insufficient in substance. Motion is carried.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn our meeting. Tapos na? Meron ba ba?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Second motion.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and we will convene again for purposes of voting upon the report that we will submit to the plenary. And we have ilang session days? 60 from and we will comply with the rules on the matter. Thank you and good afternoon.
After an executive session, the House Committee on Justice declares the impeachment complaint filed by Magdalo Party List Representative Gary Alejeno against President Rodrigo Duterte sufficient in form but insufficient in substance. Alejeno claims President Duterte betrayed the public's trust, violated the Constitution, engaged in bribery, graft and corruption, and other high crimes. He also believes the president committed multiple murder among others. Alejeno admitted he has no personal knowledge of the alleged Davao killings. House Majority Leader Rudy Fariñas said earlier statements without personal knowledge are not allowed. Fariñas added claims are not based on authentic records. Under the House rules, the Justice Committee is designated by the Chamber to determine the sufficiency in form and in substance of an impeachment complaint. This is the first hearing conducted by the committee on the 2 impeachment complaints filed against President Duterte. The second complaint contains maritime issues. Again, that was the House Committee Justice declaring the impeachment complaint filed by Representative Gary Alejeno against President Duterte insufficient in substance but sufficient in form. Keep it here on CNN Philippines to get the stories as they happen. I'm Nicolette Henson. He's on. Good afternoon.